Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the GameSpot studios where we are live and on the spot. I'm your host, Chris Waters, and today we are talking about the PlayStation Vita. It's February, the launch of this system is imminent, and we have 4 live demos of Vita games to show you. It's a pretty exciting day. My coworker, Tom McShay, joining me on the couch. Tom, ready to get your fingers up? Well, you're not going to actually be playing. No, you're just going to be watching. And first up, we've got CJ Heine from Zipper Interactive here to show off Unit 13. CJ, welcome to the show.
Hi, thanks. Thanks for having me.
We're really glad to have you guys here. Zipper Interactive obviously has a great pedigree as a shooter developer. And Unit 13, third-person shooter coming out for the Vita pretty soon?
Yeah, it's early March is when it'll be out.
Excellent. All right, so you know, folks are familiar with SOCOM, your big franchise, but Unit 13 is a new direction for you guys, a new creation.
Yeah, we wanted to craft a third-person shooter experience specifically for the Vita. So the idea is it's a modern-day military shooter with a heavy emphasis on tactics and scoring. But again, it largely focuses on quick little missions that are great for people on the go.
Excellent.
5-minute missions, 15-minute missions. Well, hopefully we'll get a chance to show some of that today.
Yeah, absolutely. We've got our Vita set up back there in the studio. We've got a camera perched looking over someone's shoulder, and there we have it. It's Unit 13. It looks like we are working on the loadout right here.
Yeah, they're setting up their gear in the armory right now. Yeah, right now they're showing some of the co-op lobby. Right now, this is our time to talk about co-op, because we've talked previously quite a bit about the game itself, using the touchscreens for zooming and swapping camera shoulders and things like that. But the big thing today is co-op. So here we have the co-op lobby, showed 2 players side by side. You see what player you've got, you see what your buddy's got. You have an opportunity to chat. The Vita's actually got a really nice built-in mic right on the front of it, so the 2 players can just chat freely. You can, obviously mute yourself, but
sure. But no need to plug in any kind of headset or try to expand beyond that. You're right there.
No, but I've been impressed with how well the mic works. Yeah. So right now they're going to be loading into to mission 5. This is called Desert Rift. One of the things about the game is that it's split into 36 individual missions on a grid. We've talked a little bit about this in the past, but the idea is that each one of these missions is kind of a standalone. There's not really an overarching story that connects them all. It's meant to be just a standalone mission, and the idea is you pick one of 6 unique operatives with unique loadouts and unique abilities to go in and take on these missions and attempt to get a high score. I mean, the big thing about this game is that it's extremely competitive and social. When you're playing in the single player, everything you do is scored and tracked and put on leaderboards. And the same thing holds true for co-op. The nice thing about co-op is that it gives you and one other player, a 2-player co-op, a chance to go into these same missions that you'd normally play in single player and play them in co-op. What's different about it is that each one of the players has their unique scoring abilities and little perks and loadouts, and you can kind of meld the 2 together. So in this one, for example, we've got Python, which is our heavy guy. He gets multi-hit kills, where the more times he hits a character or hits an enemy, he gets more points for it. And then the other player is playing as Animal. He's kind of our well-rounded guy. So when you go in an area like this with
well, there we see it's like a 6-hit kill bonus.
Oh yeah, it's a huge amount of points. So the 2 players can be talking to each other and trying to figure out, okay, well, I need to kill this guy, and you need to kill that guy, and trying to figure out the maximum amount of points to earn for it, so you can have Python try to rally off a bunch of body shots and then finish with a headshot for additional points. Meanwhile, Animal can be trying to coordinate his kill at the same time so that they get multi-kill bonuses. There's all kinds of ways for both players to coordinate their attacks for points that they wouldn't normally be able to get in single player, which is awesome because we have a full set of co-op leaderboards. So each one of these single player missions that is playable as co-op has a unique co-op leaderboard especially set aside for it.
Okay, so that's interesting because you're not just, when you play from single player to co-op, it's naturally a different game, it's a different challenge, you use different strategy, but you guys are sort of taking it a step further with these unique abilities. So even if I'm not playing as Python, I need to be conscious of opportunities for him to get the multi-hit kills and
definitely
rack up the points that way.
And a little thing on the screen right now is Python's near a planted explosive on the ground. Python gets bonus points for shooting explosives while there are enemies nearby, an improviser bonus. And that's not something that the other players get as much of a bonus for. So they can coordinate that out and actually say, okay, you're playing as this guy, go hit that thing, go set off these certain scoring combinations while I go do this other set of kills.
Okay. So I noticed that this uses the Wolverine style of health system as opposed to the more SOCOM one. Is that true, where you regenerate health after being shot?
It depends on which one of the game modes you're in.
Okay.
Right now they're playing in direct action, which is our longest game mode. This is kind of the 15, 20-minute style mission, where health does regen. We're kind of forgiving, especially in a co-op game. But if they were to play one of the other Elite game modes, Elite has a health bar on it, and you don't get that back while you're playing through. You'll hit certain checkpoints and your health will fill back up, but it's much more difficult. It doesn't really show as well for a demo.
So it combines SOCOM with some of the other shooters like Call of Duty and puts them into like different modes almost.
Oh yeah. We have 5 unique game modes in total. We've got direct action, which is the one they're playing now. Elite, which I've talked about. We have a covert game mode, which is more of a stealth-based one, where you actually see awareness states of the enemies that are searching for you. It's extremely difficult to play in co-op because you're having, not only do you worry about your own visibility to them, you're worrying about your buddies. It's extremely difficult.
Communication maybe even more crucial on that one.
Oh yeah. It's really hard. And then the other game mode we have is Deadline. Deadline's a race against time. So we have a timer that's ticking down constantly. And you're trying to complete the mission in that much time. Every checkpoint you beat, you'll get an additional time. Trophy. Yeah, trophy support's great.
There it is. Boom. 13 squared. And so you can see sort of other evidence of the scoring mechanic being embedded throughout this mission. You have a multiplier up in the top corner, and I see 2 scores there. One is one a team score, or what's the difference?
So what's going on up in the corner there is the larger score with the multiplier next to it. That's whoever's Vita that's playing on. The score above that is the teammate score. And this is actually a good time to talk about a lot of the scoring, because when you're playing co-op, both of you are adding to the multiplier. So both of you guys are getting points and scoring. That multiplier is going really quickly. But if either one of you is taking damage, or if either one of you dies, the multiplier is going to drop.
Looks like we just got busted back down to 1x from 4.
Yeah, that's a huge loss. So if these guys are really competitive and going for a really high scoring leaderboard, they're probably not going to get it. But yeah, if you die, your multiplier is completely wiped out. But the other player can just walk over and revive you, and you can start building your score back up again. A huge amount of points for doing objectives. There's a lot of strategy in which objectives you need to do and which enemies you need to do. Ideally, the players going for the really high scores who spend a lot of time playing through the single-player versions of the missions know the ins and outs of where all the enemies are going to be pathing, where the objectives are, which areas to hit first, and then take that knowledge over to co-op, where they can both be kind of on the same skill level and knowledge level and crank out a really high score.
Okay. Now, so that's sort of is that more of a pro tip from CJ, or do you guys build that in sort of unlocking different missions at a different pace? You have to complete some single player before that you let you dive right into co-op, just so you at least know the basics.
That's a little bit of a tip for me. Do the objectives first if you can, and then take out guys. But overall, with the mission grid, if one player has a lot of missions unlocked and the other one has only a couple missions unlocked, he can hop into a game with the player that has missions unlocked, and it gives him a chance, if they complete the mission, to unlock that one mission in the grid.
Oh, nice.
So, the grid is set up so you can kind of choose your route through it, as long as you're going through adjacent missions, and you can unlock missions out of order, basically, through co-op. And co-op's also a really great way to level up your character. The amount of experience and points you get in a co-op game is much larger than what you get in single player. So for players having a difficult time with a normally difficult game in single player, hop on the co-op and get some bonus points.
Play some co-op, get some help, get some bonus points. Now, CJ, since we're live right now, we've got Cynthia standing by in the chat room, and apparently we've got some questions coming in, so get ready.
Great.
Yeah, Chris, we've got 2 questions right now. Question number 1 is Durek. 477 wants to know what's the deal with the name Unit 13 exactly? And then the other question is, a lot of people are excited and wanting to know about the price point.
Okay, so Unit 13, where'd you guys pull that from?
That's a good one.
Out of the ether?
Yeah, it's a little bit out of that. We had a long backstory of how this team of 6 is specially chosen from different special ops groups, and they all come together, and it comes from a longer operations group name. and it's just got shortened down to Unit 13.
Okay.
A little bit more catchy.
But like you said, it's sort of the focus is more on. This is just it's almost a more arcadey focus.
Oh,
You're
yeah.
not you're not creating some sort of long linked narrative. That's not the focus.
Yeah.
This is an elite squad. They do missions. These missions are disjointed, but they're still all challenging in different ways and exciting in different ways.
That's exactly it. We didn't want the player to get going on a storyline, have to turn it off when they get off the bus, and then pick up later after work and not remember where they left off. Each mission is completely standalone.
Great. And so the other question, and I'll tie this into, when is Unit 13? You said early March?
Yeah, I think it's
coming
March
out?
6th.
And the price point for, let's say, in American dollars, because we're in California right now.
I don't actually know what that is offhand.
Anyone back there? No. You'll have to stay tuned to GameSpot to find that out, folks, as the release of Unit 13 approaches. And so, CJ, anything else you want to mention before we close it out?
No, I gotta say, for me personally, we've been working on the game for a while, and I still find myself picking it up and playing it and trying to beat some of the scores that some of our awesome QA guys put up there. I love going through, seeing that my score has been beaten by some friends and other coworkers, and then going back through and beating their scores.
Oh man! So are you guys gonna do a little leaderboard wipe to help folks out in the early going, or are you just gonna set that bar high?
No, I'm sure we'll reset it, and I'll intentionally not play for a little while after the game comes out, give everybody a chance, and then I'll show up.
And then come back in and raise the stakes.
Yeah, I mean, what's nice is that we do have several different filters for leaderboards. We can filter on, if you just want to see where your friends are standing, or what the global standings are like, or just regional, like North America.
Sure.
Then you can set that up, but global's going to be a battlefield.
Yeah, sounds like it. Well, CJ, thank you so much for coming on and showing off Unit 13.
Yeah, of course.